Paul Heyman just got exposed, and what Cody Rhodes revealed will make your blood boil. But that's nothing compared to what Randy Orton did next that has the entire WWE Universe in complete chaos. If you think you know what happened on SmackDown, you're dead wrong, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this might be the most controversial moment in recent WWE history. The undisputed WWE Champion just dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming, calling out the so-called wise man in the most brutal way possible. And when I tell you what Randy Orton did immediately after, you're going to lose your mind. This isn't just wrestling drama, this is personal warfare that's about to tear the entire SmackDown roster apart. Let me paint you the picture of what went down, because mainstream wrestling media is already trying to spin this story, but I'm going to give you the raw, unfiltered truth that they don't want you to hear. Cody Rhodes walked into that ring with fire in his eyes, and what came out of his mouth was nothing short of a declaration of war against Paul Heyman and everything he represents in this company. But first, let's talk about the elephant in the room that everyone's been ignoring. Paul Heyman has been playing both sides of this game for months now, and Cody Rhodes finally had enough. The American Nightmare didn't just call out Heyman, he systematically destroyed every lie, every manipulation, and every backstage power play that the wise man has been orchestrating behind the scenes. You see, what most people don't realize is that Paul Heyman has been pulling strings that go way deeper than just his relationship with Roman Reigns. We're talking about contract negotiations, storyline decisions, and backstage politics that have been affecting wrestlers' careers for the better part of 2 years. And Cody Rhodes just exposed it all in the most savage way imaginable. The tension in that arena was so thick you could cut it with a knife. When Cody grabbed that microphone, you could see the panic in Paul Heyman's eyes because he knew exactly what was coming. The champion didn't hold back, didn't sugarcoat anything, and delivered what might be the most scathing promo of his entire career. "Paul, you want to call yourself the wise man?" Cody's words cut through the silence like a blade. "The only thing wise about you is how you've manipulated this entire roster while hiding behind Roman Reigns for protection. But guess what? Roman's not here to save you anymore, and it's time someone finally told you the truth about what everyone really thinks of your so-called wisdom." The crowd erupted, but that was just the beginning. Cody continued his assault, revealing details about backstage meetings, creative decisions that were made specifically to benefit Heyman's chosen few, and how certain wrestlers have been held back because they didn't kiss the wise man's ring. This wasn't just a promo, this was a full-scale revelation of everything wrong with WWE's power structure. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Paul Heyman, instead of backing down like everyone expected, fired back with venom that shocked even the most seasoned wrestling fans. He didn't just defend himself, he went nuclear on Cody Rhodes in a way that nobody saw coming. "You want to talk about truth, Cody?" Heyman's voice dripped with disdain. "The truth is that you're exactly like your father, a mid-card wrestler pretending to be a main event star. The only reason you're holding that championship is because this company needed a feel-good story, not because you actually deserve it." The disrespect was palpable. Bringing up Dusty Rhodes in that context was crossing a line that shouldn't have been crossed, and you could see the rage building in Cody's eyes. But what happened next is what really sent this entire situation into overdrive. Just when it looked like Cody was about to physically assault Paul Heyman, Randy Orton's music hit, and the Viper made his way to the ring with that calculated, predatory walk that means somebody's about to get destroyed. But here's the shocking part: that as everyone talking, Randy Orton didn't come to break up the confrontation, he came to make it worse. The Legend Killer grabbed a microphone and delivered words that sent shockwaves throughout the entire WWE universe. "You know what's funny about this whole situation?" Orton's cold voice cut through the tension. "You're both right, and you're both wrong. Paul, you have been manipulating this roster, but Cody, you're not innocent in this game either." "Wait, what?" Randy Orton just threw gasoline on an already burning fire. He continued his verbal assault on both men, revealing that he's been watching this power struggle from the sidelines, and he's sick of both of them playing politics while real wrestlers get left behind. "I've been in this business for over 20 years, Orton's intensity was building. I've seen manipulators like Paul come and go, and I've seen golden boys like Cody get handed everything on a silver platter. But what I haven't seen is either of you actually caring about what's best for this roster or this company." The crowd was going absolutely ballistic at this point, but Randy wasn't finished. He dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming and that has the entire wrestling world talking today. The Viper revealed that he's been in talks with WWE management about forming a new faction specifically designed to eliminate the backstage politics and power games that have been plaguing SmackDown. But wait, it gets even crazier. Randy Orton didn't just announce his intention to form this faction, he started recruiting right there in the ring. He called out specific wrestlers who he claims have been held back by the Paul Heyman political machine and offered them a chance to join his crusade against backstage manipulation. The implications of this are absolutely staggering. We're potentially looking at a complete restructuring of the SmackDown roster, with Randy Orton positioning himself as the leader of an anti-establishment movement that could change the face of WWE forever. But Paul Heyman wasn't about to let this challenge to his authority go unanswered. The wise man revealed information that shocked even Randy Orton, talking about contract clauses, creative control issues, and backstage agreements that have been kept secret from the WWE Universe for years. "Randy, you want to talk about politics?" Heyman's voice was dripping with confidence. "Let me tell you about the politics that got you your last 3 championship runs, the creative control you demanded in your contract, and the wrestlers whose careers you've buried to protect your own legacy." The tension in that ring was explosive. 3 of the most powerful personalities in WWE were engaged in a verbal war that was revealing secrets that were never meant to see the light of day. But what happened next is what really has everyone talking and speculating about the future of SmackDown. Cody Rhodes, who had been relatively quiet during Orton's revelation, suddenly grabbed both men by the shoulders and delivered what might be the most important statement of his championship reign. "You want to know what's really wrong with this company?" His voice was shaking with emotion. "It's that we're more focused on fighting each other backstage than we are on giving these fans the best possible show." The champion's words hit different because they carried the weight of truth that everyone in that arena could feel. But then he dropped a challenge that has the entire wrestling world buzzing with anticipation. "I'm putting my championship on the line in a triple threat match against both of you," Cody announced to a stunned crowd. No interference, no politics, no backstage manipulation. Just 3 men settling this the way it should be settled, in the ring. The arena exploded with excitement, but the story doesn't end there. Paul Heyman immediately tried to decline the challenge, claiming that he's not an active wrestler and shouldn't be put in physical danger. But Randy Orton had other plans for the wise man. "Paul, you've been playing games and manipulating careers for years." Orton's voice was ice cold. "If you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is, then maybe it's time for you to step aside and let real wrestlers handle business." The psychological warfare was intense. Randy Orton was essentially calling out Paul Heyman's legitimacy in the wrestling business, questioning whether someone who won't step into the ring has any right to influence the careers of those who risk their lives every single night. But here's where the situation took another unexpected turn that has social media going crazy. Paul Heyman accepted the challenge, but with conditions that nobody saw coming. The wise man demanded that if he loses the match, he'll step away from WWE television for 6 months. But if he wins, he gets complete creative control over both Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton's storylines. The stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about a match that could potentially reshape the entire landscape of SmackDown, with consequences that will be felt for months or even years to come. But wait, there's more. As if this situation wasn't explosive enough, Randy Orton dropped another bombshell that has everyone speculating about potential interference and surprise appearances. The Viper revealed that he's been in contact with several former WWE superstars who are interested in returning to help clean up the backstage politics. The implications are staggering. Are we looking at potential returns of legends who want to restore order to the chaos that has been plaguing WWE? Could this triple threat match be the catalyst for a complete restructuring of how business is conducted behind the scenes? Social media has been going absolutely insane since this segment aired, with fans taking sides and speculating about every possible outcome. The hashtags related to this confrontation have been trending worldwide, with wrestling fans expressing their frustration with backstage politics and their excitement about the potential for real change. But here's what really has me fired up about this entire situation: this isn't just entertainment, this is real frustration boiling over into storyline. The lines between reality and fiction have been completely blurred, and we're getting a glimpse into the real power struggles that happen behind the scenes in professional wrestling. The way Cody Rhodes called out Paul Heyman's backstage influence, the way Randy Orton challenged both men's legitimacy, and the way all 3 revealed information that felt too real to be scripted, this entire segment felt like a shoot interview disguised as a wrestling promo. And that's what makes this so compelling for wrestling fans who are tired of the same old manufactured drama. This felt authentic, it felt personal, and it felt like these 3 men were finally saying things that needed to be said about the current state of WWE. The upcoming triple threat match isn't just about a championship, it's about the future direction of SmackDown and potentially the entire WWE. We're talking about a match where the outcome could determine whether backstage politics continue to influence storylines or whether real wrestling merit becomes the deciding factor in pushes and championship opportunities. But here's what I think is really going to happen, and this is where you need to pay close attention because I believe this entire situation is building towards something much bigger than just a triple threat match. The way Randy Orton talked about recruiting other wrestlers, the way Paul Heyman hinted at having more power than anyone realizes, and the way Cody Rhodes positioned himself as the voice of change, this feels like the beginning of a major storyline that could dominate WWE programming for the rest of the year. Think about it, if Randy Orton is serious about forming an anti-establishment faction, and if Paul Heyman really does have the kind of backstage influence that was implied during this confrontation, we could be looking at a storyline that mirrors real-life frustrations with corporate politics and professional wrestling. The genius of this angle is that it taps into legitimate fan frustrations while creating compelling television that feels more authentic than anything we've seen in recent memory. Wrestling fans are tired of feeling like their favorite wrestlers are being held back by politics rather than being rewarded for talent, and this storyline directly addresses those concerns. But here's where I need you to sound off in the comments because I want to know what you think about the bigger implications of this confrontation. Do you believe that this storyline is going to lead to real changes in how WWE handles backstage politics? Or do you think this is just another work that will ultimately maintain the status quo while giving fans the illusion of change? The way this entire segment played out, with real emotion, genuine frustration, and revelations that felt too specific to be completely fictional, suggests that WWE might be using this storyline to address real issues while entertaining their audience. But whether that leads to actual change or just better storytelling remains to be seen. What's undeniable is that this confrontation between Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, and Randy Orton has created more genuine excitement and discussion among wrestling fans than anything in recent memory. The fact that people are genuinely invested in the outcome and are speculating about real backstage implications shows that WWE has tapped into something special with this angle. So here's what I want to know from you: who do you think was right in this confrontation? Was Cody Rhodes justified in calling out Paul Heyman's backstage influence? Was Randy Orton right to challenge both men and propose his anti-establishment faction? Or was Paul Heyman correct in defending his role and pointing out the hypocrisy of his accusers? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is far from over, and your perspective on these developments could influence how this entire storyline plays out in the coming weeks and months.